Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. In our headlines this hour, Supreme Court hears latest suit seeking to challenge ongoing process to potentially remove Chief Justice from office. And as well this afternoon, 3 major university unions declare indefinite strike, citing unfulfilled agreements of conditions of service, past and present governments to be blamed.
Announce with deep regret but unwavering resolve our decision to embark on an indefinite strike action.
We have more details on that, and as well, mass demolition hits Circle Neoplant Station, where the Accra Metropolitan Assembly Police and National Security led special operation to clear squatters.
They laid a pipe underground, and we tried to track. I think I have to bring the police. I have to let the police come. Hey, let the police come here. This woman be taken away.
We're live on the grounds on day 2 of the Accra Decongestion exercise as well. We'll bring you details. Now, President Mahama's code of conduct for his appointees comes under fire as some civil society organizations describe it as toothless and merely administrative. We've got these plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Please stay. Join us. Independent, fearless, credible. Oh, it's a pleasure coming your way. Now, first, 3 staff unions of the country's universities have declared an indefinite strike starting today. The unions, the Senior Staff Association of the University of Ghana, the Technical University Administrators, and the Federation of University Senior Staff Association, are accusing both the current and previous governments of failing to honor a 6-month-old agreement aimed at improving their conditions of service. Until those demands are met, the national leadership says members should vacate their post and stay home. Judge Ansong is national chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Ghana.
Hear from us until the government pays or honors the agreement signed on the 12th of November 2024. Go home.
The leadership of the Senior Staff Association Universities of Ghana, SSAU of G, the Technical University Administrators Association of Ghana, TUAG, and the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana, FUSAG, announce with deep regret but unwavering resolve our decision to embark on an indefinite strike action. Effective today, 21st May 2025. There's no need of re-signing anything, because when we signed, we were told they could not implement it at that time because of the closeness of the election. So when the new government came, we followed up. We were told the president is yet to select his ministers, so we should hold on. We said, fine. After the ministers, we followed up. They said they were going to factor it into the budget, so we should hold on. We said, fine. After the budget, we wrote letters. We followed it up with a meeting with the Minister of Education. He promised of following it up for it to be implemented as soon as possible. That has not come to pass. We followed it up at the Ministry of Finance. We were told the letter has been drafted. It's left with somebody to sign. Up till now, that letter has not been signed. Today is Wednesday. Monday, Fair Wages also invited us. And what they told us was that, yes, the current chief executive has just come. And he has just had the first-hand information about it. And they are saying that until he endorses it, they cannot effect the implementation. And we said, so the one who handed over to you, didn't he give you any handing over notes Or didn't he give you any brief? Fine. If now you know, what are you doing? Because per our information, the letter has been drafted. So if you know that it is the truth, why don't you endorse it for it to be implemented? For signing, just a signing of a letter, how many hours does it take for a letter to be signed? We see that it's a delay tactics that the government is playing with us, and we can't have it anymore.
Now let's get some clarity from George Anson, who joins us on phone now. Thank you for joining us and good afternoon. And so you say that it's an indefinite strike and is based on some working conditions which past government and even the current government has refused to honor. Would you let us in what these working conditions are or that you've been demanding from the government? Can you hear me, Mr. Ansong? If you can hear me, I'm asking what these working conditions are, Mr. Ansong. Well, we're trying to get to talk to them to give us, to get some clarity on what is in the conditions of service. Whilst we get to that, I may take you to the court at some point, but before we go to the Supreme Court, we've just been telling you that some unions in major universities have gone on strike, mainly because they accuse past government and current government of not improving their working conditions, and this conditions is quite indefinite. Let's get some clarity from Mr. George Ansong, who speaks for them. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Would you let us know what these working conditions are?
That is our condition of service that we have with government. The condition of service has a lifespan of 2 years. And every 2 years, when it expires, we engage government and sign a new one. So we started the one we are talking about more than a year. And we came to a conclusion on the 12th of November last year and signed. And we're expecting government to implement. That is also fulfill its part of the agreement. And that is what has taken us from November 2024 till now.
What is this?
And that is why
working condition? What is it particularly?
Mostly it's about our allowances, and part of it is also not financial. It's our study leave, hospital, maternity leave, and all that.
And so you say that every 2 years it is renewed. Would you say that
yes.
until last year, government has not defaulted before?
Pardon me. I'm saying that, like the current one that we signed, it will expire in 2 years' time. So when it's about getting to 2 years, we start a new one. Okay. And fortunately for us, we signed the current one that we are striking on in November. So it means that we started counting from November last year. And now we're in the 6th month, and it has never been implemented.
Okay.
And that is why we are not happy.
So until
because half of 1 year is gone.
Okay. But has this happened before? And if it happens, do they backdate it for you? Do you get some sort of allowances that covers for the months that you have missed out on?
Yes, we are expecting the implementation, and implementation takes effect from November. So all the arrears will have to be paid.
Okay. Now, prior to today's strike, have you engaged the National Labour Commission at all?
National Labour Commission, we have not engaged them, and they have also not engaged us. But we wrote an initial letter and copied them, asking the Minister of Education, who is our sector minister, to follow it up and make sure that it is implemented. We gave a deadline. The deadline has passed, long past. We didn't hear anything, but we did not take any action. We further engaged. And as I said, we even met with the minister. When we met with the minister, he assured us and even gave us a date to meet him again. When the day came and wanted to meet, the chief director there said the date is not favorable, so he will invite us. Up till now, I called him. He then told me that yes, the letter and everything is before him, but he wants me to write another letter to remind him before he will go and follow up. And we see that all these things are delaying tactics that they are playing with us. It's not fair.
You should write another letter addressed to him, the chief director,
yes,
for the sector.
Before he will follow it up. Meanwhile, you have confirmed that the letters are with you. When we went to meet with the minister, you were not there. But the minister minuted on a letter and worked from his desk and gave it to somebody to be given to you. One way we called you, you confirmed that you have the letter. But you want us to write another letter to remind you before you act.
So who will he be following up on? Fair wages or the sector minister again?
For fair wages, they have done their work.
Okay.
Because when we finish the negotiation, their task is to write to the Minister of Finance. They have done that long time. Later, when we followed up, we were told that the Finance Ministry asked them to bring a copy of that letter because they could not trace it or something. Okay. Fair wages sent that letter long time ago. So for fair wages, we are done with them. They have done their part. Now, the task is with the Ministry of Finance and Education to work together and get the agreement implemented.
Will it mean anything to you at all if the National Labour Commission thinks that your strike is quite illegal? Will it mean anything at all?
Why would they say it's illegal? Because per the Labour Act, we are supposed to write to them 7 working days.
Right.
And the 7 working days expired yesterday.
Okay.
So there's no illegality here.
Good to know. But finally, what would it take really to get you working again? What will it take?
What it will take us to get back to work is for them to implement. There's a letter that the Ministry of Finance should write authorizing the implementation. One will go to GTEC, one will go to Controller and Accountant General. That's all.
Right.
That letter is what we are expecting.
Thank you so much for talking.
And that is what we went there to follow, and they said the letter has been drafted, but it's left with the signing. So the person who is in charge should sign. That will go to work.
And that will be the minister?
Well, whoever is there to sign, we are waiting.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'll take you to the Supreme Court, where it is hearing a suit brought before it by a private citizen, Theodore Kofi Atakwote, who is asking the court to place an interlocutory injunction on the hearing by the Committee of Inquiry as part of processes for removal of the Chief Justice under Article 146 of the Constitution, pending the determination of the instance action. The plaintiff is also asking an order suspending the operation of the warrant of suspension issued by the President against the Chief Justice. Legal Affairs correspondent Lateef Idrisu joins me from court with more updates. Lateef, has court started already, and what's happening so far? Lateef, would you kindly unmute? Again, I will try and connect to Lateef again to bring us updates with that interlocutory injunction that a citizen is actually seeking the Supreme Court for. But slightly away from that, or maybe I'll just go back to Lateef because I have it now. Lateef, what's happening in court now? Lateef, kindly unmute. Again, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague who is currently at the Supreme Court, and we'll bring us some update on that particular story on how Mr. Korte is seeking an interlocutory injunction. Lateef, what's the update?
Yes, Amefa. So the particular case you just cited in your intro is not yet on the banner at the Supreme Court. What is being heard currently is a case brought before the Supreme Court by the Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems. Now, this group, the thrust of their case is that the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, failed to furnish the suspended Chief Justice, her ladyship, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, with copies of the prima facie determination that was made against her, reason why the president went ahead to set up the committee that is currently undertaking its work. So what this group is asking the Supreme Court to do is to impose an interlocutory injunction on the processes, including the injunction on the committee that is currently hearing the matter. So it's asking for that. And then subsequently, this same group is hoping that a forum will be given to them to make a case for the entire process as initiated by the president to be quashed. And that is the case that is currently being heard. We heard from the lawyer for the plaintiff who made the case that indeed, as far as they are concerned, they are aware that the president has not furnished the suspended Chief Justice with the prima facie determination. Now, then come in, now before I even go there, this rate has the Attorney General as the first respondent. It has the suspended Chief Justice as the second respondent, and it has the chairman of the committee that is hearing the matter, Justice Scott Puaman of the Supreme Court. These three are respondents. Now, we heard from the lawyer for the plaintiff, and then we heard from the lawyer for the suspended Chief Justice. Now, he made a sharp contrast to what the lawyer for the plaintiff had said, because according to the lawyer for the plaintiff, the president failed to furnish the suspended Chief Justice with the prima facie determination. Now, lawyer for the suspended Chief Justice comes in, and his argument or his submission to the Supreme Court panel is that there has not been any prima facie determination as far as he is concerned. And I must reiterate, this is the lawyer for the suspended Chief Justice speaking. He says in his submission that as far as he is concerned, there has not been any prima facie determination by the president. If there were any such determination, it would have been captured in the communication between the executive secretary of the president to the Chief Justice. Now, the argument here is that if he did that, and I'm referencing the executive secretary of the president, if he did indicate reasons for the suspension of the suspended Chief Justice, that will be giving out details about the petitions. So his argument to counter that is that as far as he is concerned, the in-camera hearing about this whole petition and the hearing has to do with the in-camera hearing or the processes that is being undertaken by the committee established by the president, and not the communication as was done between the executive secretary of the president and the suspended Chief Justice. So the arguments have been made, and before I stepped out of the Supreme Court, Justice Sremsai, who is representing the Attorney General, that's Deputy Attorney General Justice Sremsai, was on his feet to make his own argument for the state on this particular matter. So the earlier one that was expected to come off has not happened yet. This is the latest from the Supreme Court's MFR.
Thank you so much, Lateef. I'll let you go so that you can go and follow the arguments in court and bring us the details in subsequent bulletins, Lateef. Thank you so much. And away from the Supreme Court, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the Ghana Police Service and National Security are clearing squatters of the Circle Neoplan Station Enclave here in Accra. Tons of makeshift structures have been destroyed. The operation is part of a decongestion exercise which began on Tuesday. We'll take you live to the grounds where James Abeji has been monitoring today's exercise. But first though, here he has been speaking with Operations Manager at the Environmental Health Office of the AMA, Joseph Atinga.
They do this thing overnight, okay?
But have you been able to trace the source of the power?
Yeah, we did that. We traced it. They laid a pipe underground, and we tried to track. I think I have to bring the police. I have to let the police come. Hey, let the police come here. This woman be taken away.
There is a bit of confrontation. The ladies are insisting that the thing shouldn't be removed from the fridge. You trace the power to where?
We trace the power. You cannot determine and see where they connected it from. So, because of that, when we came, we tried to get access to the meter. So we took all the power off from the meter. They have a central meter. The meter is with us, AMA. It's in the office. We're going to use the meter to interrogate, to investigate, to find out whose name is on that meter. And that will be where we arrest whoever owns the meter and who is paying the electricity bills to.
So when you trace the cable, at the point it was buried underground?
Underground, we cannot track it.
I see.
Yes.
So have you found the owner of these drinks?
They have been adequately educated. They are even among us, but they are playing a game of we will go, and they will remain here. So based on that, we evacuate the things, take the fridge out, and the place will be empty.
Now let's bring in James Aveji now. James, is the exercise still ongoing, and what's the latest? We'll try and we'll try and get back to my colleague James so that we can hear exactly what he's been saying. But today is the second day of the 3-day decongestion that the AMA is seeking to undertake in Accra. Yesterday was day 1. Today is day 2. And my colleague James Aveji has been following that demolishing exercise that happened today, particularly at Neoplant Circle, and then would engage him again to see where they have moved to and whether the demolishing exercise is still happening. James, if you can hear me, please give me the latest report.
The backstop here, which earlier contained the structures that have been destroyed here, have all been cleared. They brought in a refuse truck to collect everything. The sanitation officers have swept everywhere clean now. And so they are done with the demolition exercise here. The back of the bus stop, which actually had the structures themselves, have all been cleared, as you see in your shots there. So essentially, the exercise here has come to an end. The task force, including the police and the national security, just crossed the road to the other side of Circle, which is the Las Palmas area, in order to inform the other supporters who also put up similar structures around the rail line to give them an official notice of a possible demolition exercise, which may happen in the course of the next few days. And so the exercise, MFR, has come to an end here at Second Neoplant Station.
Right, James, would that be all for today, or you're moving somewhere else?
We'll now be moving to join the Accra mayor, who has been moving through the route across the Accra Business District to inspect the level of compliance of traders from yesterday. I have been to the street, to the Tudu area, the Kantamanto area in the morning, and they have been in check. They are still conducting their trade on the pavement. They've restricted themselves to the pavement, not crossing over to the street. While the other team was undertaking the demolition exercise here, the mayor was doing some supervision in the central business district. And so we'll be checking up with them to know where exactly they are now and join the team. We also informed that they are currently demarcating the pavement with some red tape for which the traders will be restricted to as a form of measure not to allow them to come back to the street. And so we'll be going to check on all of those in the course of the day and keep our listeners updates on what has been happening. But the day looks so young as far as the exercise is concerned.
You're a champion for bringing us that updates. Of course, you want to stay with us, Joy News. We'll be following this exercise all through and through, and James is our man on ground and will bring us updates. This is still Joy News today. I am MFAP Akosi Adeti. Stories so far, Supreme Court hears latest suit seeking to challenge ongoing process to potentially remove Chief Justice from office. We'll be bringing you that when it starts later in the Supreme Court. And as well, Senior Staff Association of Ghana and allied groups declare immediate nationwide strike to demand better conditions of service. And as well, we've just been bringing you mass demolition hits Cycle Neoplan Station, where the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, police and national security lead a special operation to clear squatters. Now, in other stories this afternoon, the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition is asking government to remove all barriers that inhibit access to quality basic education across the country. The group says conflict in some communities across the country is becoming a barrier to realizing Sustainable Development Goal 4. Peter Seno reports.
Our basic objective is to ensure that every child in this country gets access to free, quality, and an enjoyable pre-tertiary education. So everything we do is to ensure that we leave no child behind.
With this vision in mind, the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition is calling on government to ensure that access to quality basic education is unhindered in any form. The group has launched year 2025 campaign on the theme Education in Emergencies. They argue that schools under trees and conflicts in some communities across the country pose a threat to realizing SDG 4, which says ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. It also aims to provide all individuals with access to quality education and learning opportunities throughout their lives by year 2030. Festus Longmati is the head of programs at the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition.
Currently, we are faced with a lot of emergency situations. We have some conflict or some areas that are faced with conflict situations, and this to some extent is affecting access because children must be out of the classroom because of safety. And then we also have situations where we have schools that are operating under trees. We think that it is also an emergency situation that needs to be looked at. As we speak, we have over 5,000 schools currently that are operating under trees in Ghana here. About 4,000 schools, that's basic schools, that are without junior high schools. So it makes it very difficult for children within communities that have only the basic school to be able to proceed to the next level of their educational career, that is accessing junior high school education. And we think that these are emergency situations that need to be looked at.
He calls on government to ensure adequate furniture supply to basic schools, as some pupils still have lack of furniture to grapple with.
We still have children who go to school but don't have access to desks for learning and teaching activities. We are using this opportunity to call on government to bridge the infrastructure gap.
The Acting Oti Regional Director for Education, Mrs. Irene Jacqueline Atabra, is calling for parental support when emergencies do occur.
So as parents, what we are asking is, when the emergencies come, we are not saying it should come, but when it comes and we call upon them, we are pleading that they come in to give the needed support. For instance, if it is a school building's a roof that has been ripped off, and you have a spare roofing sheet, we call upon you, you give it to us. If it is a bag of cement, you give it to us. A bucket of paint, you support us. In whatever way we call upon them, they have to give us the necessary support that we need so that education can continue wherever it is.
Peter Senu for Joy News.
Now, the 2025 edition of the Volta Trade and Investment Fair has been activated with a tour of some selected sites in the Volta region. Organizers say this will expose investment potential in the tourism sector of the region. Fred Kwame Asari, who joined a team on the tour led by the Volta region's Minister James Gunu, has more in this report.
The team kicked off the tour with a visit to the Tafi Atome Monkey Sanctuary in the Fajatu South district of the region. The sanctuary harbored in a sacred forest which covers a land area of over 300 acres, serving as a habitat for over 900 Mona monkeys. They move in troops, taking rounds in the forest in search of food, led by a male adult. Members of the troops are under the command of the leader and owe allegiance to him.
Tafi Atome is actually a very nice place, a place of visit where you can come in to have fun with the monkeys. The monkeys we have here are actually called the true Mona monkeys. And talking about the true Mona monkeys, you can only see them in Tafi Atome and also in Cameroon. These are the only two places you can see the true Mona monkeys. So you can come in at any time, have fun with the monkeys.
The next stop was the mountainous Amejope community in the West District of the Volta region. It boasts of the Ote Falls, Mount Gemi, a misty weather, an eco park, ancient caves, and a distinct landscape, with a canopy walkway being the latest addition.
Where the Eves defeated the Ashantis, it was in the valleys of this mountain. When you climb this mountain, you see a cross. And that cross was erected in 1939 by the German missionaries who first came here to preach the word of God. And when they were observing their 50th anniversary in 1939, they erected that cross.
The Volta Regional Minister, James Gunu, and his team rounded up activities with a thrilling and breathtaking experience at the canopy walkway. He conquered the 259 steps to access the canopy walkway, measuring about 25 meters above the forest floor. It hangs across the section where the forest runs down.
It's a nice experience. It's very good for our health. It's not just a tourist attraction. It's more than that. And I'll urge everybody to come and experience nature.
Mr. Gunu indicated that the government will adopt a multi-sectorial approach towards developing tourist sites in the region.
We as government, we are determined to ensure that we take deliberate and strategic steps to develop our tourist sites. And we are calling on the private sector also to come in and help.
Fred Kwame Asai, Joy News, Amejope.
Ghana's youth unemployment rate currently stands at 19.7%, according to the latest report from the Ghana Statistical Service. For many young people, the journey from the classroom to a career remains uncertain and for some out of reach. But one group of old students is taking action. Stephen Mensah reports on a new intervention by the Presbyterian Old Boys Association.
Despite increased access to education, Ghana's transition statistics remain worrying. UNESCO data reveals that only 23% of secondary school graduates advance to tertiary institutions, meaning nearly 300,000 students each year are left without structured support or access to career networks. In response, the Presbyterian Old Boys Association has launched a structured mentorship program designed to connect students with professionals in the field ranging from engineering and medicine to media and finance. Chachu Mauko Chali is the president of the 2000-year group.
We believe that, talent needs to be shaped and directed. And so sharing our experiences will inspire them, also give them more confidence into being what they have to become what they were actually shaped for. And so we are here to basically tell our story, share our story with them, to inspire them, to give them confidence. And we are also here to launch a partnership with the 2025 year group, which is in the final year now, basically to assure them that we are there for Y2K 2000. We are here for them and we will be there to hold their hands through their career and development.
The class of 2000, celebrating 25 years since graduating from Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, Legon, led the first major rollout. Some students speaking to Joy News described the experience as inspiring and transformational.
I'm preparing for my final exams. It's going okay, trying to solve a few more past questions to be able to truly understand how the WASI questions come up, and then trying to make sure I get more concepts into my head and learn more. learn more of the stuff in the book to be able to answer more questions.
Yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of activities, and I think some memorable moments would have been the speech day we had in Form 1. Others may be debate competitions we've been involved in. Others may be tours we've gone to other schools, and I think other inspirational programs and innovative ones which we've experienced from.
With Ghana's labor underemployment rate also hovering at 24.2%, experts say scalable community-driven mentorship is essential in improving education to employment outcomes.
You're watching News Today. Please stay with me for business.
Welcome to business here on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out of our first business story, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has assured that the outlook for the Ghana cedi remains largely favorable. This, he says, is based on measures that the Bank of Ghana is currently implementing. The governor gave this assurance at the opening of the monetary policy meeting at the Bank of Ghana earlier today.
Since our last meeting, we have witnessed further moderation in inflation. According to the GSS, the inflation rate declined to 21.2% last month of April, down from previous highs, but still well above our medium-term target band of 8 plus or minus 2%, and breaching the upper consultation band of 19. This path has been shaped by a combination of monetary tightening, relative exchange rate stability, and easing non-food inflation. In March, the committee responded decisively to the inflation outlook by raising the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%. Preliminary evidence right now suggests this action has contributed to dampening inflation momentum. And importantly, the cedi has appreciated sharply by nearly 19% between April and May, helping to ease imported inflation pressures and restoring public confidence. The appreciation of the cedi reflects a combination of factors, including prudent monetary policy, the improved market sentiment, as well as the external sector gains that we are witnessing. We are also seeing encouraging signs of macroeconomic progress. For example, Ghana has reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF regarding the fourth review of the ECF program. And although some prior actions remain outstanding, the trajectory is clearly positive.
That the Ghana cedi is selling at 11 cedis 90 pesos, according to Bloomberg. Now moving on, the head of partnership and government relations at the Africa FinTech Summit, Foster Akugri, is calling for stronger government-to-government collaboration to enhance the penetration and adoption of financial technology across countries. Speaking on the sidelines of the AFTS 2025 Roadshow Mixer in Accra, Mr. Akugri emphasized the need for innovative and practical policy frameworks to drive this agenda forward. The African fintech ecosystem is poised for continued growth in 2025, with innovation, financial inclusion, and digital transformation taking center stage, according to the head of partnerships and government relations at the Africa FinTech Summit, Foster Akugri. The time is right for the development of a strong policy and innovation framework to support this expansion.
The Africa FinTech Summit is a gathering that brings together some of the foremost thinkers in financial services and technology, policymakers, investors. Over the years, we've been able to command almost $600 million in investments into to startups through our platforms. We've convened in about 7 countries, Ghana being our 8th, and this is our 14th edition of the Africa FinTech Summit, which we host between Africa and the US in DC during the spring meetings. Today we are gathered here to officially welcome the Africa FinTech Summit. I am Ghanaian, and I'm very excited to be leading the charge to bring in the summit to Ghana for the first time. For someone to be able to move money from Uganda to Ghana today through mobile money is driven by policy and innovation frameworks. And it takes government to government conversation to say, let's open the channel for this to happen. Let's create a protocol for the conversation between our technologies to interact so that we can serve the needs of our customers or of our citizens on a daily basis. That is a practical example of policy innovation.
CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Simon Maji, also reiterated the government's commitment to creating a supportive environment for businesses.
And so cross-border payment is essential for us. We are happy to have you with us. I look forward for us to engage as we prepare towards this great event in October. Remember, like they say, if you're not doing business in Ghana, then you are not ready to be profitable.
The event also marked the official unveiling of a strategic partnership between the Africa FinTech Summit and the GIPC. The 2025 edition of the summit is scheduled to take place on October 8, 2025, here in Ghana. That's all for business here on Join Us Today. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is sports after this break.
Let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, former GFA Executive Council member Sami Enimado is calling for a Samoajan to be included in the national youth team coaching setup. He believes the former Black Stars captain, who remains Ghana's all-time top scorer with 51 goals, has the expertise to help develop the next generation of strikers.
A lot of the problem also comes from the coaching. Because if we agree that we have a particular talent, we have a particular DNA, and we know the kind of qualities we have, and we see the talent early, and we persistently support the talent to that level, the talent will make it to that level. And somebody like Asamoah, we can make use of him when it's time for us to call him to come also offer assistance. So it is up to us to be deliberate and strategic and be committed to the cause that this is what we want to do. But I see sometimes when we do it, there's another big problem where we have cowboys calling themselves managers. Anybody saying I'm a manager. Most of them destroy their talents because they come in, even some people now, when the talent is good, instead of the talent listening to the right advice, they will come in and pollute his head, and the talent will not listen. So we have a whole lot of challenges affecting us to get our talent from this level to the next level. But we are hoping that gradually we'll get there, and then the opportunities will come for the right talent to come. So that, because some of us are doing it, we are doing our best at our level. We hope that one day we'll bring the next ones
to Europe, and all eyes will be on Bilbao as Manchester United and Spurs face off in the Europa League final. United are 16th, Spurs 17th, and between them they've lost 39 league games this season. But a win tonight could change their story with Champions League football on the line. Here is the two managers, Ruben Amorim and Ange Postecoglou, speaking ahead of the game.
A new future for me, I think, is not the case, but it's going to help us to finish the season. People will look at our team in a different way because winning a European title is really important. But again, nothing is going to change our season. Players know, everybody knows, the staff knows, the fans knows. But winning a European title can help us to have that feeling that can help us to build the future. Again, I think it's not the case. We are doing things that we need to do it. But for example, I came from the club that in order to survive and to maintain players, you need to be in Champions League. This is not the case. Our club can have revenues without Champions League. It's a big club. It's a massive club with a lot of fans around the world. It's a big brand. So we just need to be focused and do the things in the right way. So I don't see like that, but I'm always playing for more than myself. I'm coaching for my players, for my staff, and especially for our fans.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully that 101st blows tomorrow, mate, not on Sunday. It's hard to sort of kind of contextualise sort of the challenges of the last couple of years. I guess from my perspective, you know, I came into the club with some pretty clear objectives about what the priorities were for the club in terms of taking over. Tried as hard as I can to kind of stick to that process of getting the club to a position where, you know, they can challenge for trophies and at the same time rejuvenate a squad and change the playing style. It's been a fair assignment, and without its, you know, plenty of challenges along the way. But I guess with such a sort of big game tomorrow, there is an opportunity to kind of fulfil at least the main task I was sort of given, and that is to bring trophies to the club.
And that's how we end the sports segment on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
Happy to bring you showbiz now to a heartwarming moment from the culinary world. Sewa Bonso, a young culinary talent and more than just a plot in the latest twist on Joy Prime's hit cooking show, Big Chef Junior. One contestant's skill in the kitchen brought the spotlight right to her doorstep. Our cameras were there for the surprise. Here is more in this report.
It was a regular day for Sewa until the familiar face of the Big Chef Junior host showed up at her doorstep with a big surprise in hand. The young culinary star wowed judges and audiences alike during the Rice Challenge on Sunday, earning her the title of Star Chef of the Week. But what she didn't expect was a recognition to come home to her. With a bright smile and applause from the students' body at Graceham Academy, host presented Sewa with a beautifully packaged gift from the show's sponsors, a token of appreciation for her standout performance.
Sewa, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I must say that you wowed us with your rice fufu. I could never imagine that you could make fufu out of rice, and you did that. And the judges also loved your carrot soup. So congratulations. These are products from our sponsors. You have something from Gino, Fortune is in there as well, Indomie, from all our sponsors.
Thank you very much.
We're glad that you used our products and then you also came top.
The surprise visit not only celebrated her win, but also highlighted the spirit of Big Chef Junior, encouraging young talents and rewarding excellence in the most unforgettable ways.
I'm very happy and excited to be declared as the Star Chef of the Rice Challenge. And next week, we are on for the Indomie Challenge. And please, don't forget to vote for me on the short code, *711*60#. Choose option 3. Follow all prompts to secure me your vote. Big Chef! Good meals by Kids!
From the heat of the kitchen to the warmth of recognition, Sewa's star continues to rise, one dish at a time. Make a date on Joy Prime every Sunday at 4 p.m. for more delicious competition on Big Chef Junior.
Of course, you don't want to miss Big Chef Junior on the Joy Prime channel. But by way of updates before I wrap, the Supreme Court has dismissed application by Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral System that sought to undo processes triggered by President Mahama to potentially remove Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo from office. The 5-member panel was made up of Justice Paul Bafo-Boni presiding, Isifumoro Tango Amadu, Yoni Kalendi, Henry Anthony Kofi as well, and Yao Asari Dako. That is by way of update on that suit that we brought to you earlier in our bulletin from the Supreme Court. It will be a wrap for the entire bulletin with me, MFA Akosia Adati. For more news and also on this one, do visit myjoyonline.com. Marketplace comes up.